Alpha Karath of the Shadow Maw Dominion made a calculated decision. His 3 cubs, born smaller than acceptable, their mother dead in childbirth, were political liabilities. Weakness in the bloodline meant weakness in leadership. So he did what Shadow Maw tradition demanded, abandon them to die. Except he didn't leave them in the wasteland. He left them at the door of Michael Chun, the human ambassador to the Dominion. A final insult. Let the weak care for the weak. Your problem now. Human, Karath had snarled before departing. If they survive, they're yours. When they die, bury them. Michael found them at dawn. 3 Shadow Maw cubs, barely breathing, their 6 eyes each dim with hunger. Rex, the eldest but smallest. Luna, with a twisted paw. Storm, who couldn't properly phase between dimensions like Shadow Maws should. Michael knew nothing about raising alien predators, but he knew about raising children. For 15 years, they grew in his residence. Not as Shadow Maws. That culture had rejected them. Not as humans. Biology prevented that. They grew as something new. Rex, despite his size, became a strategic genius, spending hours with Michael's military history books. Luna's twisted paw forced her to think differently about movement, developing fighting techniques that used momentum over strength. Storm, unable to phase properly, learned to partially exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, seeing all possibilities, all futures. Michael taught them human concepts their species had never considered. Democracy, earned loyalty versus forced submission, the strength found in protecting the weak. Chess, poetry, the radical idea that power could be built rather than taken. They were 18 when the news came. Alpha Karath was dead, assassinated by rivals. The Shadow Maw Dominion was in chaos. 7 warlords fought for control, each bloodier. You don't have to go back, Michael said, though his heart was breaking. You have a home here. Luna touched his face with her good paw. You taught us that family isn't about blood. It's about choice. The Dominion's cubs didn't choose this chaos. They returned to Shadow Maw space not as abandoned runts, but as something unprecedented. They brought with them 300 beings, outcast from dozens of species who'd gathered around Michael's residence over the years, drawn by stories of the human who raised predators with kindness. The warlords laughed when Rex announced his claim. The runt? The human's pet. Rex didn't fight them. He offered them a choice. Join him in building something new, or face the combined tactics of human military strategy and Shadow Maw ferocity. When they attacked anyway, they discovered what 15 years of human education had created. Rex commanded with Hannibal's cunning and Sun Tzu's wisdom. Luna led ground forces using combat techniques that turned weakness into unpredictable strength. Storm stood between dimensions, coordinating battles across multiple realities simultaneously. But their true power wasn't military. It was the vision they offered, a dominion where strength meant lifting others up, where abandoned cubs were treasured for their unique perspectives, where different species could contribute their strengths rather than be conquered. Cubs who'd been hidden by their parents, too small, too weak, too different, emerged to join them. Other species, long oppressed by the Dominion, allied with the siblings who'd been raised to see diversity as strength. Within 6 months, they controlled not just the Shadow Maw Dominion, but had built something larger, an empire based on human ideals and predator strength. Not conquered through fear, but united through hope. Alpha Karath had been wrong about many things, but most of all about weakness. His cubs hadn't been weak, they'd been different. And a human that different, when nurtured with love and wisdom, could reshape the galaxy. Michael received the transmission on a quiet Tuesday morning. 3 faces appeared. No longer cubs, but leaders of the largest democratic empire in known space. Hi, Dad, Rex said. We're having elections next month. Storm thinks you should run for advisory council. You already raised 3 emperors. How hard could a parliament be? Michael laughed, tears streaming down his face. He'd raised them to conquer through compassion. They'd exceeded all expectations,